Your mind is not just a place where thoughts randomly appear and disappear, it is a living garden, quietly growing something every single moment. Every thought you allow to stay becomes a seed, and over time, these seeds begin to shape your inner world. Some of them grow into peace, confidence, and clarity, while others slowly turn into fear, anxiety, and self-doubt. The truth most people ignore is that no one else is responsible for planting these seeds. It's you, through what you watch, what you listen to, what you believe, and especially what you repeat to yourself when no one is around. Without even realizing it, many people let their minds become filled with negativity, overthinking situations, comparing themselves to others, doubting their worth. These are not just simple thoughts, they are weeds, and they grow silently, spreading deeper into your mind until they begin to control how you feel and how you see your life. And the most dangerous part is, you don't even notice when your garden starts getting out of control. The moment you realize that your mind is a garden, everything begins to change. Because if your mind is a garden, then you are the gardener. And that means you have control, not over every thought that enters your mind, but over which thoughts you choose to water. Negative thoughts will come, just like weeds naturally grow, but you don't have to let them stay. You don't have to nurture them. Instead, you can start pulling them out, one by one, replacing them with better thoughts, stronger beliefs, and calmer perspectives. This is where real transformation begins, not outside, but within. When you consciously decide what deserves your attention, your energy, and your focus, your inner world starts to shift. Slowly, your garden begins to heal. Peace starts to grow where chaos once lived. Confidence replaces doubt. And clarity begins to take the place of confusion. But remember, a garden doesn't transform overnight. It requires patience, consistency, and care. The same way your mind does. Your mind doesn't grow what you wish for, it grows what you feed it daily. If you constantly water thoughts of fear, doubt, and negativity, then no matter how much you desire peace, your inner garden will remain restless. But the moment you start feeding your mind with better thoughts, even small ones, everything begins to shift. It's not about being positive all the time, it's about being aware of what you're choosing to focus on. Because focus is like water. Whatever you give your attention to, grows stronger. When you focus on problems, they expand. When you focus on growth, solutions begin to appear. Most people unknowingly water the wrong plants every single day, by replaying past mistakes, worrying about the future, or comparing their journey with others. And slowly, they create a life that feels heavy, not because life is heavy, but because their mind is carrying unnecessary weight. The truth is simple but powerful: if you change what you water, you will change what grows inside you. There was once a person who had two gardens within him, one filled with beautiful flowers, and the other full of weeds. Every morning, he would wake up with a choice: which garden to water. At first, he didn't pay attention. He spent his days complaining, overthinking, and doubting himself, and without realizing it, he kept watering the garden full of weeds. Days passed, and that garden became wild, heavy, and suffocating. It started affecting everything: his mood, his energy, even the way he saw the world. One day, he paused and looked within, and for the first time, he noticed the damage. But instead of blaming life, he made a quiet decision. He began watering the other garden, the one with hope, gratitude, and belief. At first, nothing changed. The weeds were still there, strong and overwhelming. But he didn't stop. Day by day, he kept choosing better thoughts, better focus, better energy. Slowly, the flowers began to grow. The weeds didn't disappear overnight, but they lost their power. And one day, he realized, the garden he once ignored had become his peace. The lesson is simple: both gardens exist within you. The question is, which one are you feeding? Growth is not just about planting new seeds, it's also about removing what no longer belongs. Many people try to think positive while still holding on to negative patterns, and that's why they feel stuck. You cannot grow a peaceful garden if you allow toxic thoughts to live there rent-free. These weeds often come in familiar forms: self-doubt that whispers, "You're not enough," fear that tells you to stay small, and past experiences that keep replaying in your mind like a loop. If you truly want to transform your inner world, you have to become brave enough to face these weeds and pull them out. It's not easy, because some of these thoughts have been with you for years. They feel normal. But normal doesn't always mean healthy. The moment you start questioning these thoughts instead of believing them blindly, you take your power back. You begin to create space for peace, for clarity, for growth. And slowly, your garden starts to breathe again. It's not enough to grow a beautiful mind, you must also protect it. Because the world around you is constantly throwing seeds, opinions, negativity, distractions, noise. If you're not careful, these seeds will find their way into your garden without permission. Protecting your mind means becoming selective about what you allow in. The content you consume, the people you listen to, the environments you stay in, all of it matters more than you think. Peaceful minds are not an accident, they are created through conscious boundaries. You don't have to attend every argument, you don't have to absorb every opinion, and you definitely don't have to carry energy that doesn't belong to you. The more you protect your inner space, the more stable and grounded you become. And once your garden is strong, even if a few weeds try to grow, they won't survive for long. Because now, you are aware. Now, you are in control. A beautiful garden is never built in a day, and neither is a peaceful mind. Most people give up too early because they expect instant change. They plant a few good thoughts today and expect their life to transform tomorrow. But real growth is slow, silent, and often invisible in the beginning. There will be days when your mind feels heavy again, when old thoughts return, when you feel like nothing is changing. And in those moments, it's easy to believe that your efforts are useless. But they are not. Every time you choose a better thought, every time you refuse to feed negativity, every time you show up for your own growth, you are strengthening your garden. Even if you can't see it yet. Just like roots grow beneath the soil before anything appears on the surface, your inner transformation is happening quietly within you. So be patient with yourself. You are not failing, you are growing, in ways you cannot yet see. There was a man who planted seeds in his garden with hope in his heart. Every day, he would water them and wait for something to grow. Days passed, then weeks, but nothing appeared on the surface. Slowly, doubt started creeping into his mind. He began to think maybe the seeds were useless, maybe he was wasting his time. One day, out of frustration, he decided to stop watering the garden altogether. What's the point, he thought, if nothing is growing? But as he walked away, an old man passing by stopped him and said, "Just because you don't see growth, doesn't mean it isn't happening." Confused, he looked back at the soil, and for the first time, he realized something he had ignored. Beneath the surface, roots were already growing, spreading, preparing for something bigger. He returned the next day, and started watering again, this time with patience instead of doubt. And slowly, one morning, tiny green leaves finally broke through the soil. The lesson is simple: growth doesn't always show itself immediately, but if you stay consistent, it will always come. The moment you become aware of your thoughts, your life begins to change. Because most people don't suffer from their reality, they suffer from the way they think about it. Your mind keeps creating stories, about your past, your future, your worth, and without awareness, you start believing every single one of them. But not every thought is true. Some are just old patterns, repeated so many times that they feel real. When you become conscious, you start observing instead of reacting. You begin to pause and ask yourself, is this thought helping me grow, or is it holding me back? And in that small pause, you create power. Power to choose differently. Power to shift your focus. Power to stop watering the weeds. This awareness is what separates a controlled mind from a chaotic one. Because once you see your thoughts clearly, they lose their control over you. And that's when your inner garden truly starts to flourish. At the end of the day, your life reflects what your mind has been growing. If your inner world is filled with chaos, doubt, and fear, your outer world will begin to mirror that. But if you choose to plant seeds of peace, belief, and clarity, your life will slowly start to align with it. This is the final truth: you cannot always control what happens around you, but you can always control what grows within you. Every thought you choose today is shaping your tomorrow. Every moment of awareness is a step toward a better life. So ask yourself honestly, what are you growing in your mind right now? Is it something that will heal you, or something that will hold you back? Because your mind is your home, and your home should be a place of peace, not a place of chaos. Start today. Start small. But start consciously. And one day, you won't even recognize the person you used to be, because your garden will be full of life, light, and something even more powerful, peace.